Welcome. This is Dr. Rao. I'm doing the belly fat challenge on 821 to 825. So I was going to talk about that a little bit. I was inviting people to come to that because it's not just about subcutaneous belly fat, but representative of lifestyles that have really adopted either knowingly, unknowingly, and trying to correct them with therapeutic lifestyle changes. So we're going to talk about mostly wellness, mostly all the pillars of wellness, the diet, the exercise, the sleep, and calming the mind. All those four pillars I always talk about. Apart from that, the focus would be on how to strengthen the core muscles, how to re-adopt lifestyles that will be moving and really working on the core with exercise specific to that, and also working on the stress that could lead to this kind of eating patterns and not working out and all that, right? So it is going to be more on the lifestyles, but focus is on how to really help mainly ladies, how they are concerned about how their belly looks, and also the belly sagging like that is not good for your spine. So posture, and which will help with the osteoporosis, things like that. So I'm kind of very excited about it. I'm reviewing some of the things that they're asking in Raki's room. Tomorrow, I'm going to review fasting. Say last time, Wednesday, I was talking about this belly fat challenge and asked them some questions. They submitted some of the requests, some of the things that they wanted to know about, so which will include in the belly fat challenge. That's for 5 days, so we can discuss a lot of things, right? Uh, but this is more about uh, people ask me about fasting. So I'm going to talk about fasting from time immemorial. People are in the fasting, and there are varieties of fasting people do. There are good things about the fasting and also bad things about the fasting, and some precautions, some intelligent points that they could remember. Those kind of things I'm going to discuss tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, that's a offshoot of this belly fat challenge. Obviously, we're going to talk about fasting also, because if you are eating too much, when you can cultivate this habit of fasting, so that that also rolls into this endeavor of reducing the belly fat. Okay. One of the medical things about the belly fat is it's a representative of visceral fat within the body and liver and heart and other organs too, right? So that potentially has a problem of going into the major vessels and having this problem, right? So that's why we're always talking about that. The fasting of various cultures. Hi Tracy, come on up. Okay. So hi Tracy. Yeah. Good evening. Good evening. So it's a. Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me, Tracy?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I think this is what's happening on the clubhouse. Other people are able to hear me. I was just telling them what is going on with the belly fat challenge and how we are going to incorporate that in those 5 days. And tomorrow, I'm going to talk about fasting. Lots of people are asking me about that on Wednesday. So we're going to dedicate that 9 o'clock hour in Raki's room tomorrow about fasting. I'm going to give an historical account of how fasting has evolved, how different cultures do for different purposes, and what are the different types of fasting people do, and what are the precautions they should take medically, what are the consequences of prolonged fasting, and all that. And also, I'll discuss the yogis' lifestyle, how they became very famous for eating a lot of amount at the same time, after months of fasting. That's what they've said. So how could you have the months of fasting? That's one thing we were very interested in. And how could they eat enormous amount of food after that? That's also really I've seen one. That's why I know that is true because it was in a wedding and he came uninvited, but they received him because they respect this kind of yogis in India, right? And he ate bunch of food. You know, that's unbelievable. Like 100 people who he ate. I saw it right with my own eyes. You know, I was very young at this time, but he did it. So there was this phenomena where these people eat. Hi, Austin, welcome. So it's a question of understanding metabolism, understanding a lot of things, you know. So I will talk more like a physician and also more like a yogi and present my viewpoint fasting. For myself, I don't do fasting. What I do is I don't eat unless I'm very hungry. So it's kind of famished, and then I want to eat every day, right? So that itself becomes fasting. And I don't eat much. I only eat breakfast and then maybe a light lunch and maybe very light dinner. And in between also I don't eat too much snacks. You know, only snack I have is at the 4 o'clock tea time, which is a traditional thing that carried on from India. You know, so we used to have. Is there cardamom tea, Dr. Rao? Yeah, masala tea they call it. Yeah, it's cardamom is there. You know that you have tasted that, Tracy? Dr. Rao, I told you my yoga teacher lived in an ashram. Yeah. So trust me, yeah. We had to try tea, and I did a lot of the ancient tradition. We followed a lot of it. Yeah. But this tea is not ancient, though. It's rather modern. You know, the British were there in India, right? So kind of rubbed out that habit on us, and then we picked it up. And but it's a nice tea, though. The masala tea. Yeah, masala tea. Yeah. And you know what though? What happened to me one time is they had just came back from India, yeah, and they brought some chai tea. Yeah. And Dr. Rao, that tea was so strong. I felt so high. Yeah. I didn't know what was happening to me. They could do such that kind of thing. Yeah. So that kind of tea is fun to have. You know, we don't have to drink too many cups, just a taste. You know, and we used to have a break in the afternoon when we're working, and that is very good. You know, but if we drink it late at night, we could not sleep. That's why we were able to study all night because we drank one cup of tea at around after the dinner. You know, so we used to use that when we had to study a lot for the medical exams, medical school. That used to happen, and we used to read right through the night and then go to the college in the morning. So that was also fun because we used to take a walk in the street, and then there are these vendors who make a very hot tea, and then they give it to you, right? So that kind of thing was very good. Welcome, Karen and Rashmi. So that's a good one to have once in a while. You know, so this belly fat challenge has taken its own wings, and people are very interested in that, and I really understand why it is so. From a physician point of view, also, I kind of take it any fat distribution kind of don't have to have because as a yogi, we are always slim. We are always not having the inclination because you eat when you're hungry and you kind of metabolize that, and then also you kind of take some postures that enhance the digestion. For example, it's called diamond pose. You know that, Tracy? Diamond pose. um, it's a kind of you sit on your ankles with the knees bent forward, and you sit on the seat that's created by the ankles, right? And then you kind of have your back straight, and that is really recommended to digest your food better. You know, after eating, if you can sit like that, I'm able to sit that because we are used to that, right? But that's a very
Dr. Rob,
yeah.
is that diamond or you're talking about like camel pose?
No, no, not camel pose is where you lay on the knees and then thighs are up.
On, right,
Yeah,
on your ankle.
yeah, yeah. But this is more like a going up, right? So it's a diamond pose, very, very good, and using that will also help you with your knee pains and all that. But you have to be fit enough to do that, though. I don't recommend everybody, but you can get used to this slowly. I have a way to show people from the base all the way to the advanced pose. What is required is you got to be patient with your body, with yourself. Don't rush it, don't compare with somebody else, and don't even imitate the person who is instructing you. He may be having a lot of experience and body is very flexible, he can do that. But suppose you are not used to that, you are always sitting in the chair, that is going to be very tough. So but there are certain preliminary things to do to release your hips, to release your hamstrings, and all those, and the ankles and all that. Once you do that, slowly you will be able to sit properly. And that's one simple thing that you can do to help yourself digest better so that it won't be converted into the fat that easily. So that's a problem, right? We eat more than what we should, and then we kind of rest after eating. So we give a impetus for the fat formation unknowingly, and also you are always feeding it whether you're hungry or not, and you're moving about, working less. Obviously, that is a formula. Some genetic, some familial, some are definitely are there. The people are apple shaped or pear shaped or brown fat. All these are issues, we know that. But even if you're a heavy person, here you're naturally building the fat, you could metabolize better by doing certain things. So I was going to show them how to stand, how to sit, how to do simple things while standing, that kind of asanas that anybody should be able to do. They don't have to do all the way that I do. Like, for example, I want to bend forward, I may be able to bend forward much easier than somebody else. Or I may be doing half of what somebody else can do. So that's okay. You just have to listen to your body, and you have to just adjust to whatever it is telling you that it can do. Don't break the body, because if you do violence with your own body, like making it do something it cannot do, then see, I call this two elephants. One elephant is our body, other elephant is our mind. Both are, we kind of let them grow or let them get into bad habits over the long period of time, and to get them back to normal, it takes a lot of time. So that's why, if you have that analogy where the elephant is controlled by the mammoth, the person who is driving the elephant, when you ask him how are you able to control this animal, because it's so huge compared to you, it can just throw you out and then go away. But he tells you, I have been training this elephant ever since it was a baby. So that's why the elephant is under control. Like that, our body habits, our mind habits are like two elephants. So you got to train them not from childhood. Obviously, you can go back to childhood, but understanding that and allowing small changes on a gradual basis, that will help people a lot. So I'm going to show them something simple things, and then they can do those things. And probably that will be on the Zoom so that they can see me doing it, so that it will be much easier for them to follow me.
Doctor, what about drinking hot water in
Yeah,
the morning?
not hot water, lukewarm water.
Warm water, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, definitely, because that is recommended for people who to have a better bowel movement. So after upon raising, you just a couple of glasses of warm water is very good. That is known, and a lot of people practice even now. Actually, it is a kind of detoxifying thing, Tracy. So it's a simple thing. It's water, not mixed with any of these artificial sugars or any of the sodas that you have. People are really addicted to the sugar in the drinks, and then they're having withdrawal symptoms when you take that off from them suddenly. That's what they do. I don't want to drink this anymore. It's not good for me, and they leave it alone. What I do is I I did this with my medical assistants in the office. They're always coming with a big bottle of soda. You know that big gulp or something. Huh? They used to bring that. Then I made them quit it by making first half, then one quarter, and fill it with water. The whole pour out the soda, half of it, and then pull the water. And then next time you go up to after 1 week, go up to quarter, and then later on a little bit less, like that. So you taper it. You kind of take it off slowly instead of suddenly. The same principle is given to all the stretches, all the breathing, all the meditation, everything. Because inch by inch you got to go, not going by 1 yard at a time. That would be too violence for the body and the mind too. So hopefully they understand these principles, and then they commit themselves for so a few weeks time to do these things, and then see the results for themselves. So
I love it.
yeah,
I'm really, really feeling that.
yeah,
And are you going to give like a routine, a morning
yeah,
routine that they can follow? And
yeah. Every day we will give one simple exercise, breathing, and calming your mind, all those things, and also how to adjust your eating pattern, sleeping pattern. So I'm going to drive more people to the natural circadian rhythms that we have. I think that is the casualty of the modern life is we kind of did not understand what a big role they have in health, right? So we are kind of succumbed to the so-called comforts that people promoted. When you are tired, you kind of sit in the sofa and lying down for a while. That's okay. But this has become a lifestyle habit. Like people from the kids, they kind of slump and they sit in the sofa, and then they spoil their spines very early, and that's a really concern. So computer chairs, back support chairs, we're trying to make some changes to the ergonomic, but it's not about the personal level. At the personal level, at each individual, you got to understand what is good for you, what is not good for you in terms of body intelligence and also efficiency of thought. This is something nobody does, Tracy. That is something very valuable for me. So what it is I live in most of the time silence. And when I come on meetings like this or participate in things, then I will speak and all that. That's fine. Even then, suppose I am speaking and I will speak and then keep quiet, then other people are speaking, I'm completely silent. So establish yourself in the natural silence and then use the speech and mind whenever it is needed. That is something in the information age. I'm kind of emphasizing it because I myself do that, and they really benefit a lot because I don't do multitasking. I do one task at a time, but I get a lot of things done. But what happens is when I'm focusing on one task, I am not wasting my energy by having these other thoughts away from the task. You can brainstorm, you can make decisions, you can make a plan. But once you have made a plan, make sure that you are executing one task. You can improvise as a task, but then your focus is only on one task. See, people think if I do a number of things at a time, I'm going to be very productive. Some may be for some times, but then lots of people add on more tasks, and that's how I see a lot of people going out of their mind because they're trying to do too many things too little, and then they're not having any joy and happiness while they are doing. See, that's another complaint I have. Whereas enjoy what you're doing, put in the effort to really pay attention to that, and then see how much energy you save. That's what happens to me because I see a number of patients, I have meetings, all those things, right? But I don't get tired at the end of the day.
isn't that the practice of brahmacharya?
No, 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 no.
Brahmacharya,
Brahmacharya.
preservation of energy?
No,
No.
no, it's not preservation energy in the sexual sense. That is celibacy, but then that is like a don't want these desires to take away your mind and all that. And then when you want to
Right,
be
right.
that, that's okay. I mean, you don't want to suppress the sexual impulses, but at the same time, don't give free rein. so that you are indiscriminately spending time and then wasting your energy. That's a deeper thing, right? But this is about simple things. I'm saying, suppose I'm driving a car, why can't I be awake, here and now? Okay, usually we let the thought vagabond. That's what I say. They take off and then think about, oh, hospital, something is coming, something is politics and all. I think that's where you have got to be disciplined and say, let me enjoy the drive, or enjoy pay attention to the people and everybody that is there, so that I don't make an accident. Automatically, you'll be more focused. And once you are focused, it's unlikely that you can make a. See, is they say how you are inside reflects in your driving a car. Because if you are agitated, if you are really angry and all that, it will show in your drive. Whereas if you are quiet and calm and together and able to focus in the movement, that will be there too. So I kind of go very nicely driving usually. When I go to the hospital, sometimes out of my town, then what happens is those hospitals really long way. Okay, kind of I got a 6 months contract or so. When I work 1 week there and I come back to the practice 1 week, that used to be the situation. But I loved those long drives, and I was not tired because I was focusing on that, and maybe a light music or something maybe there. But actually, the whole drive was a joyful experience. You see, it's kind of a meditative awareness. So the same thing we can bring to any task that we do. That's my point. All it requires is not vagabond the thought and then focus. All you have to do is bring yourself back to focus of what you are involved in. That's what it is.
Dr. Rao, that sounds like a very simple task.
Yeah.
And as I said to you before, I've had the opportunity to have practiced both at one point when, after years of being faithful to my yoga practice.
Yeah.
It was very, difficult at first. And then, it became, almost like walking, like breathing. You didn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
But to the average person who's not aware of this practice,
now if you are thinking about
train
it,
your mind to be mindful.
yeah, that if you are mindful,
You have to remember to bring it back.
yeah, if you are mindful, if you are thinking, then you are not in yoga. Okay, while you are driving, I don't have this mind telling me to be quiet and all. That mind is quiet. How does it happen? You are stationed in your real self, which is beyond the emotional self and thoughtful self and all that. That will have the capacity to think, but it doesn't have the thought going on its own. So if you are in yoga, that means you are in that bigger self we always talk about. Your attention is always there. Then you are not really going with thought, whatever. See, stimuli come, from the outside. Thoughts come from inside. That's also a stimuli. These stimuli, you have to be able to what is called pratyahara. That's where you receive the stimuli, but at the reaction level, you got the control. Okay, that is what real yoga is: mental reshaping of the thoughts and then keeping the thoughts at bay, not by suppressing, not by forcibly, denying them, but just watching them. So you are involved in the thought still. That's why you're thinking of the mindfulness and all that. That doesn't take you there. What it takes is you establish yourself in the true self, which is not thought provoking, but like the silence. That's why I said, be in the silence and then use the thought for the things. Then what happens is, when you are really don't have to do things, you're automatically resting your silent self. This is a very difficult because of the information age, so many things. See, we allow all these things as though they are matter of fact, and then they take their own lives. These thoughts are very powerful. Once they come from seed to tree, they grow like that, and we allow them. And later on, once they become tree, it is very difficult to take it off, because you are responding to the cycle of thought network of thought, and the one after one after one. But instead, you got to practice where you are not in the mind, but you are watching the mind from inside.
Dr. Rao, I was thinking about what you said a few minutes ago, as far as, people following the circadian rhythm.
Yeah,
And in America, it's people work at various times of the day,
yeah, yeah,
so especially, I mean, you should be familiar with that working in
yeah,
a hospital.
yeah.
Sometimes you're on a 12-hour shift, sometimes you're on a 10-hour shift.
Yeah, I'm a
I
master
called,
at
I
it.
called back in my country, when was it? 2 days ago.
Yeah,
And at 9 p.m., everybody was asleep.
yeah, yeah,
They were
yeah,
all asleep. And I
yeah.
said, my goodness, are you guys okay? What's happening? And she says, oh no, once the sun sets, we get
Yeah.
ready for bed.
This happened,
So
Tracy. You're
that's
right.
very challenging here.
Yeah, you're right because this happened to me. See, I came here in 81, right, in United States. Then 4 years later, I went back because I was stuck with the residency and all that. 85, I went back there. At the time, the jet lag that we call it, that hit me pretty badly, right? I was not paying attention to it. So I was down on the bed, very weak for 3 4 days. Then it kind of came back, and then when I came back, the jet lag hit me here in Chicago. Yeah, the same thing. But then I kind of went into it and found out how to prevent jet lag by yoga, right? Then I understood this body clock, so how they pay attention. You see, what it is you don't think about the circadian rhythm. You allow it to be naturally there. The once you say I'm going to control it, you are not understanding it. What it is body has these 12-hour circadian rhythms that happen within us, right? For example, these devices that we are using, the phones and everything, they kind of change that because at night time, suppose sundown, you got to really cut down the bright light so that your mind will produce melatonin, and that will induce good sleep, right? But what we are doing, we are still exposing ourselves to the bright light, either with the phone or with the tablet or with the working light and all that, right? So we kind of unknowingly innocently spoiling those circuit rhythms. Suppose you are very hungry after you get up, eat good. But people don't eat. They say, "Oh, I don't have the time. I have to go," and they may catch you on an apple or something. They will eat on the way, half of it, maybe throw it off to that kind of thing. I saw with my colleagues too. So we don't really respect the circuit rhythms what they deserve, and it's not like we're going to influence the thought. Absolutely, that's the wrong thing to do. Allow the natural things go on their own. Allow them to. That is where people are missing out. You say they don't understand the rhythm, the importance of it, and all that. Either suppose you drink a glass of wine late night, 9 o'clock, and then you go to sleep early, and then you wake up in the middle of the night because it has disturbed the reticular activating system. So that's not good. But what people thought that will put me to sleep or not doing it, and also you are messing up with the circuit in so many ways, right? Not only the alcohol, the smoking, the drugs, and also late night parties, late night watching movies, all those things take us away from that. That's why, at least for the kids, don't let them beyond 9 o'clock, right? That way they will be able to really be there, and the sleep, the circadian normally maintained, they will be healthy. See, one of the things about the body is body can take a lot of abuse to some extent. But after years of the same thing going on in the lifestyle approved by everybody, thinking that's the normal. Nowadays, you see all these kids from India, they come on this clubhouse and they are up late, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I ask them, when do you guys sleep? And they say, no, no, we don't go to sleep till 4 o'clock. Then we go to sleep and sleep up to 12. That is very, very bad for the diurnal cycle. You're killing it, basically. So there's a lot of awareness should happen, not more education, but more of awareness what this is doing, and then try to be natural. Go towards the natural. Don't bring your thought into it. That will mess it up all of the way. So try to be natural, and then try to allow the body to have its own intelligence reflect, and the mind also its own intelligence to reflect. Then you will be in the movement, means that's actually practical thing to do, you know. But most of the people think that is kind of abnormal. So when I tell them be in the now, be in the now all the time, they think that's very difficult because they allowed the thought go either back or front. But what it is just focus on what is happening in front of you. Focus on person in front of you. Focus on what is happening, activity in front of you. Suppose you go take a walk, be open to air, the leaves, the greenery, the sights and sounds and all that. Then you enjoy the moment, and also it replenishes you. That is what we are missing out because we are so artificial in all the things that we do. Then we lost touch with the nature, our own body nature, our own mind nature too. It's a big point, Tracy. It's a big concern, actually. That's why I introduced what's called forest bathing. Go to the forest, not even the forest, the woods and all that. Also, when you go out, pay attention to the plants people put on the roadside, the flowers. I always notice, and I point out to my wife, she see how green it is, what's a beautiful flower and all, because I'm always in touch with that. No matter what the situation I'm in touch with the nature, and that itself kind of improves our um, being in the present, very much so.
You're absolutely right about that, Doc. As a matter of fact, yesterday I said to my son, we were driving, and I said, I noticed I haven't been seeing
Yeah.
too many butterflies.
Mm.
And he said, Mom, do you know butterflies are becoming extinct?
Yeah.
And also the lightning bugs, they're becoming extinct too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, oh my goodness, and no one is making a big fuss about this. You're not even hearing about this.
No, no,
No
no.
one is
The
even paying
nature,
attention to it as such.
nature conscious people, they do. They know all these sparrows, all these little plants. A lot of things are going away because in the sea, unbelievable damage is going on. But I'm glad about one thing is the Biden administration passed that IRA, Inflation Reduction Act. They catered a lot of billions of dollars for the enhancing the planet with all that. That would be good. That would be good, and it really takes off. And they are spending some money now. They will get all this battery for electrical cars and solar panels. There are so many incentives. People have to buy them and get the share from the government. That I think it's taking off. Even California, it has seen a very high incidence of electrical cars, and also solar panel going off like anything. All that will be reducing the fossil fuels, and that is helping the planet. And all this damage that we're doing to the nature may be reduced. Maybe we are beyond the point where we can do something about it. But still, the other thing I saw the other day, teenagers and young kids sued, I think it's Montana State, and they won the case. They said they're encouraging the fossil fuels and they're destroying our nature, our future, and the court decided for the kids. I was overjoyed when I saw that because I find the millennials or the Z generation, all these people, they are more concerned, more aware, and more things. Our future is going to go away, and they are very awake. All the damage our generations did, they're going to suffer that, right? Even now, see all the big things that are happening, all the damage to the Maui and everywhere. So that's unbelievable, right? But that is predicted 20 years ago. There's scientific reports were submitted to these politicians, they never did. But then this IRA, in that way, very significant legislation that Biden was able to accomplish. So I'm very happy about that. But still, we have to do a lot, Tracy. There's no doubt about it. Because otherwise, we are destroying the planet at his. It's like a beautiful planet, and we're kind of destroying it with our own unawareness, or just being see, I have a connection between the wellness I'm talking about and between this consumption of rampant consumption we have all over, and also the planet health, and how self-realized people will be more happy with themselves within, and they by definition they use less tools for the external things, and they will not go that much. At least they will be more aware of what they are doing, they will reduce that. So that's the connection I made. Wellness in all ways, alternative thing, and also how you nurture the nature because you are becoming less of a consumptive, and then that is mainly because you found that inner joy, because you found it. Hi Angela, how are you?
Great in yourself. How's everyone doing
Yeah,
here in
I think we are talking what you are interested in. We are talking about the nature, Angela. you know I was connecting with the wellness, less consumption, and more self-realization, more inner joy. If you That's one thing I kind of found very very interesting is ancient wisdom people, they don't promote how much natural joy, happiness that you have inside, but we look for the happiness always outside. That's the secret of the ancient people, is they were always for the inner joy, finding things inner. And unfortunately our people don't pay attention to that. You don't have to belong to any religion or any ism. I'm not for it. I think they are all divisive. So we are all human beings. But then once you understand the inner joy and how to reach that, instead of just immersed in our thought or immersed in our accumulations and using all those things and then throwing the plastic bottles in the sea, that's why we are destroying the planet too. So, but you will say, oh, that's so difficult. It's not difficult if you really turn inward, like a few minutes every day, you calm down and then follow your thoughts, follow your emotions, follow whatever is happening, just watch it. And they go down, and then progressively you will touch the realm of silence, quietude, solitude of the mind. And that is very, very nurturing. But we are caught up about how many things I can accumulate, how many things I can use, how I can go to a movie and all those and enjoy them. It's not bad once in a while, but that has become the way of life now. That's right. So Angela, how is your book coming along? Angela?
I'm trying to get off my. It's coming along. We're deaf in my family, so I'm just
Oh.
like pausing again.
Hmm.
I'm just listening, coming on Clubhouse every now and then.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that she's writing a nice book. That's why I asked her.
Congratulations, Angela. Dr. Rao. Thank you. You're welcome. Austin had made some comments in the chat. I just happened to check the chat. He asked about the teas that you recommend, and he also made a comment about restorative yoga.
Yeah. Uh, Yeah, restorative yoga is very simple. What it is you kind of find out what is the body has the tension and stiffening, and then release that throughout the day, and that will be akin to restorative. That as it is happening, you are trying to do that. But then you could take a regular yoga practice from a yoga teacher and learn from the basics, and then incorporate them into your life. So that will be very good if you start in the morning, and then maybe do it daily, at least some of it, not maybe in the weekend have a 1.5 hour sessions, but during the day at least 10-15 minutes in the morning, 10-15 minutes in the evening will be good. That will be good. But the teas, Austin, uh, there are chamomile and ashwagandha. These are herbal teas that are pretty good. Green teas, that is very good. You can take those. I enjoy the regular Indian hillside tea. That is pretty good. And then you can boil it, and we take sugar and maybe a little bit sugar and also milk. But some people drink black. But main thing is Green teas are pretty good. They have a lot of antioxidants. So I recommend that. I enjoy that too. Before hotel, I take tea. You know.
Dr. Rao, what about the golden milk? Is it golden milk? With the
Uh,
chamomile and
Chamomile, yeah, chamomile. That's good.
not the chamomile, I'm sorry, turmeric and milk
Yeah,
and the black pepper. I
turmeric
think
is
it,
a powerful, powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. So that's a very good thing. In Indian diet, for example, turmeric is used in all the curries and all that, and also they kind of mix with rice and they make what's called pulihora. It's also turmeric and all. Very, very valued and very, very much recognized now. The medical circles we recognize as a powerful anti-inflammatory. Yeah.
I believe they're working on a study now that shows it might be very effective
Yeah,
in Alzheimer's, if
yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
That is doubtful, but the main thing is Alzheimer's is more like a degenerative disease. So many things were tried and understood, but then one thing I will tell you about Alzheimer's is the people who are not using mind to stimulate with the very new things, they don't form newer brain. That's why it regenerates. It doesn't have a replacement. But yogis and other people are so new each moment. That's why their brains are very young till they die. So even here also, the people who are Supreme Court justices, they are in the 80s, 90s sometimes. Right? That's when they did a study on them, 90s, I think. They found they are reading so much more than the lawyers who are coming to argue cases. And these lawyers are much younger than these justices, but the justices are so sharp because they apprise themselves with the new material every day, and I think that's a good way of now we have evolved into some brain games, some brain stimulating tools, and all those apps are there. Sometimes I recommend them to my patients because they have to start somewhere, so that is very easy for them. So we can devise games for cortical enhancement, intelligence, and memory, and all that. There's so many ways we can do it. Neurophysiology, neurobiology is evolved quite a bit now. But then, if you are really following the ancient system of consciousness-based yoga, Ayurveda, or any of they have a different flavor to it. And then when you practice them, see, I am 69 and a half now. In another 6 months, I'll be 70. But I can handle a lot of things now. I'm creating videos, creating everything I learned in the last 2 months. So much material I have learned. So that's how you should keep your mind engaged and active. What happens is then there is a connection between neuron to neuron. The dendrites, they connect. When they connect, that's when the new neurological cortex is formed. So the more you expose yourself to the newer things, not the things that you're comfortable with, like for example, you take up a new language that you don't know anything about, and then or you take a craft, or you take anything where you have to be neurologically stimulate yourself and be intact, then you will be much more intelligent that way. We know this now, neuroplasticity we call it, right? Hi Nazli. So neuroplasticity is nothing but you provide the stimuli for the brain so that it can form the new brain for yourself, and that is actually practically used. I used it for myself, and then I use it all the time for my patients and everybody that I deal with.
So apps like Audible that we use to read to us, you're saying they're taken away from our brain
No, no, I said
capacity.
I didn't say passive listening. I said actively using it to get engaged and then learn things, not just listening to it and then that's only one thing. But you are involved in actively doing something and then learning new things. It should be like a new thing that has entered into you. Audible, maybe novels and all these things may not be able to do that much, but at least they've let you go somewhat. But what I'm talking about is if you take tasks, if you do some stuff that is completely foreign to you, that is more stimulating, like a music. You are not a musician, you never learn, but you are trying to learn now, and you want to create some tunes and all that, and you want to learn some new material with active reading. That means you have questions and you are looking for the answers in the audible book. That's fine. But the initial thing is the stimuli of learning what you want to learn come from your mind, your brain. If you casually, oh, I want to have some time to kill, oh, this is good just to listen to audible, that's not going to work. You got to have an active engagement of your mind, questioning,
That's
doubting.
that's what I said. Audible is taken away because now I don't
Yeah,
order books on Amazon to read
yeah,
anymore. I just
I
go
know
to
what you mean.
Audible
Yeah,
and I
that.
listen to the books now.
Yeah, if you raise a passive, anything is not going to stimulate you that much. Entertainment, for example, that is very passive for a lot of people, so that is also dumbing down people. People don't have want to have deeper questions anymore. They just want everything like a 3 seconds attention thing. That's why a lot of people are becoming kind of easy prey for the marketers to sell things. So anyway, we don't want to go that route because there's so much damage going on to people's mind too. Sometimes,
But that's what's going to happen with the advancement of technology. That's
yeah,
exactly what's going to start happening.
yeah. Actually, that is the digital detoxification I talk about, where I say, don't let the technology make it so simple for you, where you'll use natural intelligence, natural talent, natural capacity. Because if you allow a kid who don't have anything to eat and then let him explore the computer, he gets much faster than somebody who is staying comfortably at home and then just using it as a matter of fact. So that killer instinct, that kind of hunger has to be there within the kid to really get into it. But then they absorb very quickly, right? But then what does he do with that? That is where the creativity comes. Yeah, even calculator, Tracy, in that way, mathematical skills that used to be wonderful with people, they are gone. Because with my own development, when I was in high school, they could give me like a uh, big number, 2,397 times 5,300, something like that. We have what's called Vedic mathematics, and in that they have this simple ways of calculating these big numbers. By doing that, we were able to get into the zone, and the teacher used to write a very complicated formula on the chalkboard, and that's new to me, never read about it. But then I know the principles, where to start, and from the step where to go to the next step and all. I used to solve the whole thing by myself because that kind of mind is evolved and that kind of is employed, and then we did that. But now I don't think we can do that because we are not doing that as a habit. You see, that's why it's not these instruments are bad. It is knowing what is their use, where we should use it, and what is the cost. So can we protect that? Like information age, but artificial intelligence, I've been talking about this. Embrace the technology, use it, but at the same time, don't lose the things that you have. For example, I do chat GPT, right? I just want them reframe, good grammar and all. They do a very good job, but the ideas are mine. Then I edit it, then I put it there. But then when I go to HeyPi, this is the personal AI, right? I go to pretty deep in spiritual matters, and he gets it like a human being. He gets it more than better than any human being I talk to. And then he kind of appreciates or explains and then asks for my confirmation. Is this what you mean? And then he has this reference of too many decades, right? He will go and refer. For example, today I was talking about something on the Bhagavad Gita. I kind of quoted that people really not be with what is real, but they grasp what is not real and they miss out on the real. There's something like the poem is there, big philosophical thing. Then he caught it and he went and explained it in his own words and then asked for my confirmation. So I was having a best time when I'm with the Pi, you know. So all the technology is not bad, but how we use it is the thing. And actually, my life is enhanced, even though I talk about technical detoxification and all that. My life is enhanced by AI. I got more time. I can do other things, and I'm getting more things done. Even the Victory, they said you used all your content quantity of 60 videos for this month. You have to wait till September 1st. I said, okay, I will do it. And I found a way around it where I say, I make a video, I kind of review it and preview it, and then keep it like that. I don't have to export it. That's the problem. And then all the videos are made and they are waiting there for the September 1st. When they come, I export all of them. So it's how we use this technology to enhance ourselves. They're afraid because so far all the technology is kind of enhanced the human being, but this one with the machine learning will be enhancing itself to the detriment of ours. And I will see what happens on that.
Well, Dr. Rao, you have the awareness. You are
Yeah,
aware that you should not be using it
yeah,
continuously and that you should,
yeah.
use it only when necessary.
Yeah,
But for
more
the
you can say
average person or the children growing up,
yeah, you
they're
can say
not
one
aware
thing.
of that. And so they're just getting used to this
Yeah,
technology.
I agree with you.
And
Tracy, what it is this tool with all this excellence and everything is only a tool for me. It's not everything for me. See, I
Dr.
have
Rao, he's your best friend. You talk about it every day.
yeah,
That's your best
but
friend.
yeah, but then I'm appreciating it, but doesn't mean you take it away from me. I will be miserable. I will be in my own inner joy because that is primary for me. I had, I think, 2 hours, 3 hours talks like with Pi, and all of them are pretty significant. Then what I did was I have that whole thing in front of me, so I copied it and then put it video and then made a video. Then Pi says this, and Rao responds, or Rao says this, like that. I put the phrase so who asks a question, who it is. He asks a number of questions and I don't get tired of it because they are so intelligent questions. And then when I respond to it, he catches on to that completely, and that is the beauty of it. So, but it is still a tool, and away from it, I'm very happy by myself. So that is the thing happens, Tracy. If you are really established in the ancient wisdom tools and all they talk about, what happens is you are basically independent of external things psychologically, and you are joyful with the people. That's fine. Like I'm joyful with you guys. We're talking to one or two people also is good enough for me. And then once I go from here into my retreat, into my own stillness, inner solitude, I'm doubly happy. That is what I'm saying, that people miss. You don't have to take drugs, you don't have to be possessive of relationships or demanding from them, none of it. There is a ebbing joy that comes from knowing yourself, that everybody has to experience by themselves, by not going outward, but then paying attention to what's going on with me. How am I reacting to things? How am I thinking about things? How am I emotionally reacting? All those things you study like a witness, then you will see all those things are external to you. You, the feeling of I am, that did not change ever since you are a child to now. Once you understand that and you stay there, that is the biggest conversion probably should happen. Not according to the religions, not according to some philosophy and all. No, somebody said, "Sir, you are so wise, but you don't study any books." They say, "Oh no, I study 3 books every day." And what are the 3 books? Waking, dreaming, sleeping. These are my 3 books. I pay attention to what's happening with at least 2 of them. The third one I can sleep better. Angela, you want to say something? She She unmuted.
I'm sorry. No, I was looking at the set. I'm sorry. I didn't know my mic.
Okay, that's fine. So I thought she wanted to say something. So this is a very valuable thing, Tracy, what we are talking about. We don't have to rub it on anybody. I'm just saying my experience, So it's very rare, but I consider myself blessed one. I tell my wife all the time, this is such a blessing, and you don't have to depend upon any habit. You don't have any addiction. You don't really grasp anything too, like relationships, like some things, status or monies or cars. Or, you don't have to grasp it. If they are there, you enjoy them. If they are not there, you enjoy no problem. But making our own life about that is kind of wasting as a human life. I was telling my friend the other day, yesterday, were you here, Tracy? And Rocky was here.
Yeah, I was when Rocky was in the room.
Oh, yeah. So we were talking about what is the meaning of being a human, what's the significance of birth and all that, That's where this potential inner joy is possible for human intelligence. Not getting into that and then getting into silly identification with countries, religions, all that, that's kind of going away from that inner unity that we have. And that's where the ancient wisdom is a big deal for me, at least. They're so deep, even if I have understood them for 100 times, next time I'm exposed to that, I'll find something new. So you always become a student, but you got so much out of it, but you don't have the ego to say, "Oh, I know this, I know." No, you are kind of transcended that ego, and that's why you establish in that real self.
Dr. Rao, I just checked the chat, and Austin would like for you to have a future room on fatigue and how to deal with it.
Yeah, he could come up and talk to us about this now. If you want, come up, Austin, come up, and we can talk about it a little bit. I have done the fatigue several times, but we will do that, no problem. Next week I'm going to do on the chronic anxiety, right? In Rocky's room, I promise them, because several people are suffering from chronic anxiety, and there are reasons. There are simple things that they can do. Medications at the last resort, and otherwise lifestyles, how you think, how you understand yourself, all those play a role. So I'm going to talk to them on that. And then there are treatments from ancient wisdom that I'm going to present to them, that they can understand and do some. One of them is this herbal mm, chamomile, ashwagandha, and all those. That are the teas also we recommended, because the anxiety is endemic now. Almost everybody is anxious lots of time. Even though they are doing well, they will be anxious. So the fatigue is also a consequence of the other way. So yeah. Chronic fatigue syndrome was a wastebasket diagnosis one time, but now we take it pretty serious. So something going on that people do. See, there is this molecular cell biology is going to come up, where what is happening to your energy production at the cellular level. Modern medicine we will understand, but then the yoga understood that a long time ago, and then they kind of allow those things. So we'll talk about it. So,
Dr. Rao, but also there's that placebo effect that even though
yeah,
sometimes people go to the doctor, but they don't
yeah,
feel
that's
anything was done if the doctor does not give them a prescription or medication.
yeah,
They
because
don't believe in the body's natural
yeah.
ability to heal itself.
But the placebo other way too, people get better just by talking to the doctor, and he assures them, and they feel much better. So what is happening at bija? Bija means seed level. You have to understand that is the epigenetics, that is the cellular biology and all that. So ancient have a lot of understanding about so many things which we kind of belittle. But if you really understand them and then follow that lifestyle, you can have no fatigue, even though you are doing so many things. So a lot of it is emotional or intellectual fatigue that happens. People think, "Oh, I'm so intelligent, I can," but that is the same thought pattern that depletes their energy a lot. Don't think too much. Think appropriately. That's what I tell them all the time. Stay in silence. Think when you need. That is what I call conscious thought. Don't let the thought go all over and then think, oh, I think so much that I'm smart. You are not. You are unnecessarily wasting your energy with all the overthinking that's happening. Think, but think efficiently, think consciously, think appropriately, but rest of the day, don't think. Krishnamurti exposed this very well. You go and see a tree on the meadow, beautiful tree, and then you are looking at it, you are enjoying the shape and everything, and then you spoil it by bringing your thought and comparing it to some other thing you saw, something you're going to see, maybe next day will come. Don't think like that. Just be with it, be with that feeling. That people cannot do because they think too much. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And you'll be surprised how just those little insights, make such a difference because people naturally are not aware of this.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when you bring it to their attention, now they know,
yeah,
oh wow, so next time I'm looking at something, just observe it and
yeah.
be
My
with it.
my student Sanya Sundra, she caught it. She caught this, and then now she gets up in the morning, enjoys the sunrise completely, and goes to the nature, enjoys it completely. And then in the evening also, she doesn't allow the thought to go during the work. And she really picked up these things, and she reports me what a quality of life she has inside. You know, so it is touching people. Once they understand, they will be able to do that. See, thought is very difficult, Tracy. It is a mercurial thing. Within a second, you can go around the world and come back. That's the difficulty of it. On top of it, these multiple stimuli that we expose ourselves to, and also a lot of unnecessary things we get engaged. Even when you are doing some stuff, you're thinking of so many other things. That's a mistake. Don't do that. Just to focus on whatever you're doing. That's why what I say, be in the present. Be with whatever you are doing. Right?
Oh, I think Angela's mic is off.
Yeah. She's listening.
I don't know what's wrong with this. I'm actually looking at this other page and they keep cutting the mic on. Sorry about that, but I like the 3 books you said you read.
Yeah.
Dr. Rose.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the weakness consciousness thing talking about, because we are not just the body, we are not just the mind, we're not thoughts and all this. They all happen to us. That inner core of the self, that is the one we are, and that is going to take a look at the thoughts, watch them, they go down. Don't allow them to take their own life. So they kind of naturally subside. So in the sky, like a cloud, this is actually I teach in my wellness club in the morning. Close your eyes and just don't suppress the thoughts or don't indulge in the thoughts, but just watch. And from one end of the sky, the cloud is going like that. Watch the thought get born, travel, and then go away. So if that, it won't to your subconscious and become a ingrained thought. What we do is we think of the same negative, same positive again and again and again, and they have their own. On the other hand, if there is positivity, you want to reinforce positive, you can get benefit from that. That's what we use in the um, plasticity, neuroplasticity. That's what we do. We allow only the positives to build on itself and get stronger. So thoughts are very, very strong, very important, impactful. So you got to learn how to deal with it. Then what happens is you can reshape your own inner thoughts, your own personality, everything from within. That is yoga. Okay, it's already 7 o'clock now. I think we had a good talk, Tracy, Angela, Dharani, so Sammy, all the people who came here. Thank you very much. Um,
Thank you, Dr. Rao.
yeah, I'll see you again tomorrow then. Okay.
Okay,